my list was for Sweet Leaf, Black Sabbath, and Changes. Right, and during the day, with the exception of Black Sabbath, I just saw my hopes and dreams whittled away as other people covered this stuff. Right, and you go, okay, what's left for Black Sabbath? I was doing this mental gymnastic. All right, we got a quick, mental discography search. Right, and it was like, what's left for Black Sabbath? And it turned out plenty, and the hot stuff was there. There was no doubt. The 4 songs that were done needed to be done. But I still would have changed one of them for the song Black Sabbath. That's just such essential Black Sabbath. That sets up their entire career, the song. It sets up the album. It sets up their career. It sets up their image. It has their name. It has the album's name. We should have got that song. Right? And I was hoping against hope at the end there. I couldn't believe they up went like after Ozzy went, the confetti stuff started happening, and you go, okay, now it's for, and then immediately after that 4th song, it was like the confetti started. I go, no, they wouldn't. Surely there's an encore. And there was no encore. And it was like, damn, what was that all about? Right? Now we're also hearing from Sharon that there was a band that was fired before the show, right? And there are several usual suspects in that list. People have been guessing. Ozzy's kid says, no, it's not them. Sharon says, no, it's not them. And at this point, or at least at my last check, there was another band mentioned. I forget what it was. If it's in my photos, I'll grab it. But the only suspect that could possibly be left was Wolfgang Van Halen. And the reason that he's the only one that's kind of left at this point for me is that because if you remember, they go, Wolfgang, maybe? Because he was on the bill now, he's not on the bill. And then Wolfgang, no, it's because, the next day I've got to start my tour. That would have been today. He won't start his tour for another 3 days from today. In other words, 4 days after the event. So that wasn't exactly truthful.
Oh, my goodness.
So what do you guys think? What band... Oh, I see that. What band did Sharon Osbourne fire from this event? Because she swore, after this show, I'm going to tell them, because their manager's been giving me all kinds of shit and sending messages out into the airways, whatever it is, right? And she says that whoever it is, the reason they were fired is they were expecting to be paid to show up. And the only thing that these guys got for doing this whole show to begin with was airfare there, transportation cost. All proceeds were to go to the children's hospice that we got like 800 commercials for, right? I mean, it was unbearable to watch. My heart goes out to those children. But a worthy cause. Let me make sure I didn't. Was it Michael that did it before?
Yes.
Okay, I'm caught up on everybody else. Yeah, Deuce as well.
Yeah.
So let me get to Michael's comment here. Otherwise, I'll get behind. Michael Boswell, $5 super thanks. Thank you so much, Michael. Overall, I was surprised that Ozzy was able to do the 9-song sets. His voice as fairly good. Yes, it was good. I may just have to approach this, as you guys are making such great comments, just as a response, because this is further down in my notes. But what song was it? Mama, I'm Coming Home. On his solo, he loses it on that song. It cracks, wrong notes, and everything. But here's why I wasn't too upset with that. Michael, was that Michael? Yeah, too upset with that, Michael, was just before he had an interaction with the crowd. You know what? This is one thing that really touched Kimberly, my beloved producer and wife behind the scenes. She's the voice you hear, oh, every once in a while in the background. But she was amazed at the love and the respect that Ozzy commanded from that crowd. That crowd was 200% in his corner, right? And I think he welled up, and it was time to do the next song, and he got in there, and that may have weakened his voice, and his voice kind of went sour on one of the Sabbath tunes. I'm trying to remember. If we don't get to it on this, I'll have my notes up with Royce, right? But his voice sounded good. But the only thing is he has his hand, and if you notice, the camera angle is right in front of him. He's got his hands up, and I was hoping he'd sing, "What is this that stands beef?" But you don't see it. Occasionally, you see a side angle come in, right? And it seems like he's in sync, but those guys got time to correct that stuff by the time it gets to you and I. That was another thing I wanted to bring up. Let me get this this one from Rock and Robinberg. Maybe Motley Crue. With a $2 super thanks. Actually, Motley Crue is the other one that they're thinking that might have been another band that she fired before they were ever done. They certainly fit the profile, if you ask me. That's all I can say. All right, so as we go through these players, what time do we have? About 5:24. I might even get time to get in there and see what you guys are saying. Again, Rival Sons was the first one up. You guys know what I feel about this band. My wife, that was the first time she ever heard him, and she loved his voice. Okay, she thought he had a great voice. That was what kind of came out to her. I've been a proponent of this band all the way, and my generalized ranking is you either get 3 thumbs up or 2 thumbs up, 1 thumbs up, a thumbs down, 2, 3. All right, and a couple of these people broke that record. All right, so I gave them 3 thumbs up. To me, this is one of the bands for the future of rock and roll. They held their own real well with giants. That's all I can say. Anthrax, Cry for an Indian. All I can say is it sucks when you get Anthrax. I gave them 2 thumbs down. I've never liked the band ever. All right, it's not my favorite kind of. Like I said, I'm not a heavy metal aficionado. I like classic rock, which includes some really heavy rock and includes what most people would consider heavy metal, right? And I'm a major Metallica fan. And that's definitely, by most people, heavy metal. But to me, Black Sabbath was never heavy metal, but I come from that generation when none of us called them heavy metal. We just called them heavy rock. And there were 3 top bands, right? You had Black Sabbath, you had Deep Purple, and you had Led Zeppelin. Now, we talked about this on Royce. Black Sabbath fit in more to a heavy metal for what became heavy metal because of their darker themes, but always misrepresented by those who didn't even bother to read their lyrics. Usually, the demonic was always the bad guy. In other words, they wrote miniature, made-for-TV horror movies. Remember back in the day? ABC, Thursday Night at the Movies, William Shatner in Kingdom of the Spiders. Oh, whatever. Right? So Black Sabbath was excellent at that. And that's the way we kind of all viewed them. A lot of people on the panel. Royce is my gen. Of course, Dan McNew is my gen. Right? We come from that time. We can tell you personally, nobody was using the term heavy metal to describe Black Sabbath. But that doesn't mean I don't like heavy metal bands. It's just that I like a lot of different subgenres. I love prog rock. I love good pop rock. I love heavy rock, Latino rock, horn-based rock. I like a lot of things, right? And Black Sabbath would be in my top 10 of all bands of all time, every single time, okay? So I don't care whether you call them heavy metal or not. They're just great music for me.